Hey, hello, hello, hello. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. Everything turns, turns, turns. There is a season to every turning, and right now we are in the middle of fall. Um, it's rather, wouldn't call it rainy, but it's mm, it's moist. The air is filled with water molecules, and some people don't like it. I like to. I like this weather. It's nice to walk outside in grass with bare feet. Yeah, your feet might get a little cold with the morning dew or an afternoon rain, but it just feels so good to feel one with nature. Let's try it. I'm supposed to read uh, something, but I cannot find the piece of paper, so I guess I'll just go by memory. This is Chirichiro and Friends, and Chirichiro and Friends, and River on the River West Radio, and River West Radio is not responsible in any way, form for anything that Chirichiro and Friends say or do. Well, I hope I don't say anything too extreme in this hour and a half, as I have been cut temporarily, and I don't know if I want to keep it that way, because hour and a half is nice, but 2 hours and a half it's also a little bit different. I think I'm gonna get 2 hours and a half eventually in the near future, because I like talking after I get tired of talking. That's what happens. We start running and run and run, and then we get tired of running. So what happens after we get tired? We get our second wind. Recently, I went down to Minneapolis and St. Paul, Twin Cities, in Minnesota. Uh, and I stayed there for a good week, mostly helping out at the haunted house that my friend Ken Kin's friend, and now my friend Mike Ito created. Uh, this is the second year it was in operations. First year was big, and this year was, well, I think it was gigantic. I mean, it was a small house, but it had a lot of gore. And my job was to scare people. I was a monster hiding in the shadows. And when unsuspected visitors came into my domain, my corner, I says boo! Or actually, what I did was uh, bang on a metal shelf with a plastic knife, and it made bad sound, scary sound, boom, boom, boom. And I was dressed in this uh, bloody butcher uniform, and well, it scared the spooks out of a lot of little kids and big kids too, and grown-ups, and a few grand ladies and grandpappies. People really had a lot of fun. Um, very, very few people stayed though for longer than 2 minutes. Everybody was just so rushing. Rushing through. When you go to a museum But fun is just to just rush through. You go and you stop by and you look at the artifacts, and even though sometimes they might be scary, like all those torture stuff, chambers, or skulls and bones. And, I don't know, they got those catacombs under Rome, and it's filled with bones and skulls. The whole entire walls and ceilings are inlaid with human skulls, baby skulls, women skulls, all kinds of skulls. Dead. Yeah. So Minneapolis is a friendly city. I recommend everybody stop by there. It's very similar to Milwaukee or just any other, not too big but relatively big, progressive city. People are friendly and open. Um, Everybody was very hospitable, and um, unfortunately, there is a big math problem. That's what I heard from hearing people talk and talking to people. They got an influx of meth heads whom you can see everywhere. Um, that's the word on the street, and there's a lot of violence. Violence escalated. Um, I was reading the Minneapolis morning newspaper, and on the front page it said some lady got shot on a highway from a road rage unknown driver. It's insane. Somebody got shot on a highway by a gun by an unknown person because of road rage. I mean, if there is crazy and insane and just scary, that's that. What is this world coming to when people just snap to go and just lose deranged in a blink of an eye for, I don't know, for whatever reason? People lose people lose their intelligence. People lose their humanity. This guy in Milwaukee, so his wife didn't like him anymore. She thought that he was violent, so he went and killed her pregnant and killed a bunch of other people. Shut up the whole place. Uh, there's something wrong with this world. Really, really. I met this ex soldier, CIA kind of person. Now he was a little drunk and he started talking all the stuff about killing people and how he wants to fight people and how he's gonna kill people and he's gonna fight. And then I asked him about yeah, like that's what his meditation. I asked him about his meditation that the army taught him, and he just started going through the motion and says, "I'm kill, you come here, I grab you like this, good night, I grab you like this, goodbye, see you, never see you." I'm like, Jesus, that's scary stuff that these these children are being taught. Because it is children who go to the army. Yeah. Um. So last time I was here, I talked about Bhagavad Gita's. I think it was 12th chapter on the evil and divine, and today I'm not gonna finish the chapter because I didn't take the book with me. I left it at home. Shouldn't leave it at home, but I'm not sure how I ended up there. And I looked at it and I thought to myself, it'd be a good idea to get the book, but I told myself I'd get it later. but later never came. So I don't have the book. Oh. Thus, I'm not going to talk about it. What I will talk about is, oh, what is there to talk about? My friend, uh, about half an hour ago, became a victim of a drug war. This poor girl, I just had a conversation with her about her smoking pot, and I said, "You've been smoking pot all your life. Why don't you quit for just a short time?" And she told me, "If I quit smoking pot, I'll kill everybody around here. I'm different. Well, I don't like this." So she says it's my medicine. Well, I know the girl, and I know that she is not going to kill anybody, and I've seen her not medicine. And you know, she likes smoking pot. So good for her. She's her medicine. She's a sick. She's got the pains and whatever. People do medicine. Nothing wrong with medicine. So now she ends up to be going to jail. And why? Because she had a little bit of her medicine on her in person. And how did the police know that she had it? Well, they searched her without her consent or anything, and they just searched her for no reason at all. I got stopped for driving my car, and these people, they looked at me and they said, "You know why we stopped you?" And I said, "No." They said they stopped you because your car smelled like pot. And I was just, I didn't know what to say. Because there was no pot smell in my car. And even if there was or whatever they could have been, they could not have smelled it because all the windows were rolled up because it is kind of chilly outside. And they're driving their car, I'm driving my car. I wasn't breaking any laws. All I did was stop by the store and let a friend out, and then I turned around and picked her up from the store, drove her to her home. I can be labeled a terrorist according to some laws or some people who can interpret them in such a way that if I have a peace sign on my car or something, I can be stopped and labeled terrorist. Apparently, being against war is a terrorist act in America. It really is. All these anti-war groups of people, they are considered to be terrorists according to the law. And that's really scary because if I am not talking about how good is war, I might go to jail or be killed. Well, that's not happening yet. But in the books, that's what happens. Because if we look at the progression of things only escalate. They go up, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 4 steps forward, 2 steps back. But it's always moving forward until it reaches the peak. That's when it kind of drops. And it starts, I don't know, lingering up, down, up, down. To everything turns. Yeah. Last time I was here, I also started talking about Vipassana meditation retreat at Rockford, Illinois, and today I'll finish talking about it because there's no book I need to read from. All there is 10, 11, 12 hours of Goenka talking. And Goenka is a good speaker. His mind is there. He's quite sharp. His wife, on the other hand, uh, I don't know about her, but people are people. Uh, yeah. So Vipassana is a good thing. Vipassana is insight meditation. And at that retreat, they have one technique which they consider to be the technique, and that's all they know. I asked them if anybody got enlightened with that technique, and they told me that there was a few people who had enlightening experiences, but they only just came and went because they said enlightenment. Uh, you don't always stay in enlightened state. You go back to ordinary state. What a lot of crap. They maybe did not read what Buddha said, because once you go, then there's nowhere to go after, because there's no one to go. There's something out there that us, as long as we are ourselves, cannot know, cannot comprehend. We can kind of look at it and see it, but not as we. Because once the eye, our eye, lays its sight on the nature of itself, as there is nothing there, there's nothing there. That's basically what I wanted to talk about today. I got a book here called 100,000 Songs of Milarepa, and I'm gonna read the 9th chapter. I think this is the 9th chapter, called The Grey Rock Vajra Enclosure. Milarepa is a Tibetan hero, Tibetan national hero, who was he was poor. He was a son of a rich merchant, but through unfortunate circumstances ended up in virtual serfhood, kind of like slavery to his aunt, who, because the father left all his money into their self-keeping, the aunts and the uncles, they forgot to share it with the descendants of Milarepa's father and his wife. And so Milarepa eventually sort of got away and studied some magic, primarily black magic, and killed a whole bunch of people. after he studied enough. He learned all he needed to know and then killed 50 people with black magic. So not with not with a weapon of form, more like with a hailstorm. Um, then he felt really bad about it, because he didn't really intend to kill so many people. He felt bad about it, and became a devout student of Dharma, uh, with a renowned teacher and translator whose name we know as Marpa. Traditionally, it is known as Marpa, and he spent a lot of time alone in the mountains, just sitting there, not eating. All he had for nourishment is nettle tea and nettle. And he spent days and weeks and months in caves, pretty cold temperature, um, dressed in nothing but a robe, just a cotton overall. Or sometimes I'm pretty sure he even said undressed, naked. His specialty, what he really loved practicing, what got him where he was doing it, was the yoga of internal heat, or tumo, where the practitioner imagines him or herself as a deity that represents emptiness, and because of the empty nature, um, person can generate a lot of heat. I don't know the practice, and I don't know the details. And whatever I told you about it, it may be or maybe not true. Maybe or maybe not true. Because I never got the transmission of the details, and if I would have got that transmission, I don't know if I would have spoke about it on the air. So I did read about it in books, and if I did read about it in books, then people did share it. Um, but I'm pretty sure, even though I did read certain information about how to do it, I would not be able to do anything because I wouldn't really understand much. So it is possible, I'm sure, to figure this thing out for your own self and make it personal. Um, I started getting used to cold in my youth, and I kind of let go of it for a while, but last year or a couple of years back, I started getting friendly with the cold once again, and it's nice. When people are cold, I'm not. So I can tell you that even the intent and just elementary practices of mindful breathing can really get you far. I feel cold like everybody else do, but it doesn't bother me as much, and I I don't get as cold as people. So, uh, but that's only when I'm breathing. Sometimes I might forget and just get lost, and I'll get cold again, and I'll start shaking. So I have to tell myself, okay, don't shake, relax, and I relax into the cold, and the shaking stops. and I don't feel as cold because I breathe into my body, and with every breath I just relax and send the energy that keeps me warm. That's what I do. But I don't think this whatever it is I do would work on extreme weather situations, because when it gets cold, I get cold. It's really cold. So I'm gonna read this chapter. Uh, mm, Maybe I'll do some commentaries. Maybe I won't. I haven't read it, so I'm curious about what it says. I opened this up and I looked at a few lines, and it looked like some good reading. So here we go. The Grey Rock Vajra enclosure. Grey Rock is Grey Rock, and Vajra is a word that primarily means something that's indestructible, something that's eternal, something that's adamantium, really strong, unbreakable. And um, it can be ascribed to emptiness, or it's emptiness is nothing there. Vajra is everything, just together. It's cold. It's like there cannot be even space between two particles. No space. Total solidity. So here we go. Oh. Did I just lose it? Okay, I did lose it. Okay, here we go. Sorry folks, in this computerized age, everything is a little bit backwards, I find. It takes more time than ordinary, not digital items. Obeisance to all gurus. That's how it starts. It's a tantric text. I think it is very authentic and historical, because Milarepa is a hero, and there's a lot of marks that are left by him. And Tibet is the land of mystery and magic. Very, very ordinary mystery. Very, very ordinary magic. The Judson Milarepa, having arrived at the Grey Rock Vajra enclosure, stayed in a state of inspiration at the Saddle Cave. So this guy, his name is Judson. Milarepa is his last name. Mila was his family name. Rapa means cotton clad, because he didn't get cold. Judson was his name, I guess. So he came to this place, and he stayed in the state of inspiration, which is, I'm pretty sure exactly what it is. He just sat there by this cave and was inspired. Stayed there being inspired by this whole grandeur, by the local fauna, flora, the rocks. You look at things and you just think to yourself, how beautiful this is. Then you let your creativity flow, and you get inspired by, you can get inspired by a dumpster. For all I know, there's infinite things that can inspire you, only if you let them. Actually, anything can be inspirational, but good scenery is quite inspirational, won't you agree? Now, there was a tantric yogi at the Gutang who had heard the preaching of the Judson and became imbued with a deep faith in him. Coming to Milarepa, he said, "Revered one, although I have practiced meditation for some time, I have not had the experiences or earned the merits that should have resulted. This is probably due to my ignorance of the proper way to practice. Pray, be kind enough to grant me the appropriate teachings." Milarepa replied, "In that case, it is necessary that you should know all the essential points." Having, therefore, he sang for him a song called the Six Essentials. So, what happens here is this guy who was Milarepa actually, after practicing many years in the caves, became enlightened and he got a lot of magical powers, and one of his magical powers for which he was more famous for than others was the power of flight. He could levitate and fly around at will anywhere, and he also um, had all the other powers like reading thoughts and knowing past and future. And eventually, after he died, like Jesus, he appeared to his disciples and told them some secrets or teachings. And also, somewhat just like Jesus, after he died, uh, he talked to, there was a lot of people gathered at the place where he died, where he was lying as he was disappearing, because when he died his body started to shrink and disappear, um, until they burned it. Yeah, so it wouldn't completely disappear. They burned it to get some artifacts which were apparently taken by the angels or divine beings, um, but uh, some disciples, where he was getting burned, heard him tell them where to find some stuff that he hid, and then everybody, when he actually completely got burned, heard him talk, give him uh, give him a song, sing a song to them, all about enlightenment and life, because this guy, he was really famous for his songs. Thus is the book called 100,000 Songs of Milarepa, and I recommend everybody look into it. So in this chapter we have him staying someplace, and in this place there was another spiritual person who wanted to achieve some sort of enlightenment, who was on his way, and he was practicing uh, tantric rites and tantric yoga. It has to do with visualization and different meditations. It's very advanced stuff. But the guy who was doing it, he says, "Well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not getting much results. Whatever is supposed to happen is not happening to me, because it said that you do this and this and this, and this is supposed to happen. You do this and that, and after a while, this is supposed to happen." But this guy, he didn't have any experiences. So he asked Milarepa, who had lots of experiences and actually got to the final destination. He asked him for some guidance. So this is what Milarepa said. He said that problem is that he didn't know the essentials. Once you get to know essentials, then your progress should be faster, and you will actually get there. Because I guess Milarepa, like Buddha, he knew exactly what the person needs. So we're gonna read the song right now. The manifestations of mind outnumber the myriads of dust motes in the infinite rays of sunlight. The Lord, like Yogi, knows the self-nature of these manifestations. I'll read it again. This is the first verse. There's a few of them. The manifestations of mind outnumber the myriads of dust motes in the infinite rays of sunlight. The Lord, like Yogi, knows the self-nature of these manifestations. What Milarepa says here is that our mind, it creates realities. It creates forms. It gives names to forms. It creates our thoughts and personalities and everything that our ego is, the mind creates. If I say about God, everybody got their own individual God, whatever they think God is. So these manifestations that the mind makes, Milarepa says, are more than there are dust motes. Each particle of dust is so little, and in one gram of them, there's so many each particles. But what our mind can make is more than all the particles in the world. What our mind can make, can create, it's infinity. The dust motes are finite, while our mind is not. And he also says that everything of this comparison to dust motes and manifestation of light, he makes it in the sunlight, because I think it's about seeing reality instead of being in the darkness from it. So in the light of truth, of the sunlight, the mind manifestations are infinite, so they outnumber every particle that there is in the whole entire existence. And then Milarepa says that he, according to himself, as the yogi, because he's the yogi. Yogi is a person that practices yoga, a person that is united with the world. That's what yoga is. It's a process of integration with. It's a process of becoming enlightened in mind, body, speech. So he says that he himself knows the reality of his mind, knows the nature of the mind, the self-creating nature, and that makes him lord-like. So he's a master of his world. Next verse. The reality of the true nature of beings is neither produced by cause nor by conditions. The Lord, like Yogi, knows the sole truth precisely and positively. I'll read it again. The reality of the true nature of beings is neither produced by cause nor by conditions. The Lord, like Yogi, knows the sole truth precisely and positively. Here Milarepa says that the essence of the mind, the true nature of who we are, is not a result of karma. As karma is what happens to us. That's karma. But who we are, the essence of ourselves, is not karmic. It's not based on actions. It's not based on any causes or conditions. It just is empty of everything that can influence it, or it can be, that it can influence. So it influences everything, actually, but it cannot be influenced by anything. So it does not change by any cause or any condition. And Milarepa knows it. He knows it precisely and positively. Next verse. Even when he is faced with the threat of 100 spears, his thorough knowing view will not be shaken. Thus the Lord-like yogi naturally subdues all attachments. Even when he is faced with the threat of 100 spears, his thorough knowing view will not be shaken. Thus, the Lord-like yogi naturally subdues all attachments. Milarepa says that he realized the essence, the truth, and the truth is so basic, it's so natural, it's so essential that he is not scared of death, of anything, to deny it. His view is unshakable, unbreakable. It is what Vajra is. He says, my view is Vajra. I have indestructible knowledge. I know the nature of reality. How can I be scared of anything? And through this knowledge, everything that he is attached to, he is not attached to. So anything that he desires, he doesn't desire. Thus, nothing can grab him, nothing can hold him, nothing can keep him in chains. Next verse. Milarepa is a good guy, eh? He's a good poet. The ever-moving mind is hard to tame, even when shut up in an iron box. The Lord-like yogi knows that all these emanations are illusions. The ever-moving mind is hard to tame, even when shut up in an iron box. The Lord-like yogi knows that all these emanations are illusions. Here Milarepa says that mind, it moves. It's not still. It can be still, but it's very hard to keep mind still. Or tell mind, go there or stay here. It's hard to tame the mind. Try it. Try to put your thought, your mind, on just one object, like your breath. Simplest subject there is, it's there. put it on it. Keep it on it for a minute. Oh, I can talk to you about it. Keep your mind on your breath, and I can walk you through it. You can even count. 1 breath, 2 breath, 3 breath. But all these helpful things, it will kind of sort of keep your mind on the breath, but not really. Keep your mind on the breath and that's it. Without any help. Just your mind do it. It's hard. And then you start thinking, which part of a breath do I have to keep my mind on? The mind likes to move. So Milarepa says that it's really hard to keep it from not moving. But he who became enlightened, he knows that all those thoughts, all those manifestations of the mind are nothing but illusions. They all appear real, but in reality are not. The disciple then asked, are experiences such as you have just mentioned brought about gradually or instantaneously? Milarepa replied, well-endowed people will attain enlightenment instantaneously. Average and inferior people will gradually attain their realizations. I shall describe to you the signs of real enlightenment and also the signs of those experiences resembling enlightenment, but which are wrongly considered by some people to be the real ones. So here this newfound student of Milarepa asked him if people get enlightened right away or they come around step by step and get there. And Milarepa said that once people's mind become sharp enough, they can just step over the border and become enlightened. But until the people are kind of dull or really not sharp enough, now the other people, they get experiences. They get things that appear different, things that moves their mind, shakes their worldview, or give them different sensations. And a lot of people mistake these experiences with enlightenment. They say, oh, I got enlightened. That's actually the problem with Vipassana, Goenka's Vipassana thing, because they mistake those little things for the real deal. But I don't know actually what they say, because they got a 6-month course where they teach their whole dogma, and all I know about them is from a few conversations I had with a teacher or two. Actually, I talked to 3 teachers, and I only liked one because the other 2 were not skilled enough to hold the conversation. Yeah, that was my thoughts about that whole thing. But back to Milarepa. Milarepa, he said that, well, yeah, that's what he said. He said that people get these experiences sometimes and they think that they're, ooh, that's what I'm going for, this is it. But it's not. Therefore, he sang the following song to explain the different experiences, both real and false, the 4 stages of Mahamudra. And Mahamudra, That's a way. It's like a cycle of teachings which concern themselves with direct enlightenment. So this Mahamudra, complete Mahamudra, that's complete enlightenment. That's like when you get it, that's it. But it says there's 4 stages of Mahamudra. I don't know what they are, so I'm very interested and curious to read this and know what are these stages. Bow down at the feet of the Supreme Guru. This is the first line. A lot of these I find start with, well, Milarepa especially, start with bowing down to the Guru. And Guru it can be a personal teacher, and in his case it was Marpa. And Guru is also Buddha, Shakyamuni, and also Guru is Buddha Padmasambhava, and also Guru is any other Buddha, and that includes your own inherent wisdom, our own personal Buddha nature. It's also Guru. Guru is the sky and the earth, the heaven. Every person is a teacher. Every particle is a teacher. Everything is a teacher. Guru means teacher. If so, Milarepa bows down at the supreme teacher, which is everything. That's what supreme is. Totality of the teachers is one teacher in this universe, and you're part of the universe, so it's oneness. Buddha, the reality. Absolute. So that's what Milarepa bows down to. To cling to the actuality of mind is the cause of samsara. To realize that non-clinging and illuminating self-awareness is unborn and immanent is the consummation sign of the stage of one-pointedness. So this verse, I'll read it again. To cling to the actuality of mind is the cause of samsara. To realize that non-clinging and illuminating self-awareness is unborn and immanent is the consummation sign of the stage of one-pointedness. So here Milarepa talks about the first stage of Mahamudra, and it involves realizing that the self, the essence of who we are, is not what our mind thinks. Because mind thinks, whatever mind thinks has different causes and conditions, but the essence, it is not there because of something else. Thus it is unborn, and it's there, it's present, it's immanent. And that is the entrance into being one-pointed. Because stage of one-pointedness, that's when you put your mind on an object and it stays there and it sucks you in there, and you can abide and remain on one point. Not 2 points, not 5 points, but just one. And to get there, that's what you gotta realize. You gotta realize that whatever it is that you're thinking, is not who you are. Let's go further. If one talks about the two in one, but still meditates on form, if one acknowledges the truth of karma, but still commits wrongdoing, he is actually meditating with blindness and passion. Things as such are never found in the true stage of one-pointedness. And again, if one talks about the two in one, but still meditates on form, if one acknowledges the truth of karma but still commits wrongdoing, he is actually meditating with blindness and passion. Things as such are never found in the true stage of one-pointedness. I'm not exactly sure what two in one is. It could be if somebody talks about being non-dual, meaning having the experience and experiencer as one, not have a separation of experience and experiencer. That's what non-dual stage is, and non-duality being non-dual. So if one talks about being non-dual, but still can think about some kind of a object, some kind of a form, that's somebody kind of being deceiving himself, herself, others. If somebody says that yes, there is cause and effect, there's what happens to you is that there's such thing as karma, that everything that happens to you is the product of the past, and everything that you do is gonna be a cause of the future. And you still do bad things and commit wrongs to people, then you're not there. You're not doing the right thing. You got ignorant. You're full of ignorance and pride. That's what Milarepa says. Next verse. In realizing that the non-clinging and illuminating mind is embodied in bliss and transcends all play words, one sees his mind's nature as clearly as great space. This is the sign of the consummation of the stage of away from play words. Here, Milarepa talks about a next stage of Mahamudra, of becoming enlightened, and that's when you stop talking to yourself. That's the way I understand the word play words. You know how you talk to yourself, you say, oh, I like him, I don't like him, this is that. Oh, you kind of put labels on the world around you. Or we do. We put labels. Well, that's kind of, I think, what Milarepa means by play words. And the next station, when we drop it. We drop talking to ourselves. At least when we practice Mahamudra, we can talk to ourselves, but it's not like those unconscious things that we do out of boredom or not knowing or whatever. And that stage happens when we look at our mind and we see this big old vastness, like great vastness. It's not filled with all this knowledges and egos and personalities and things how we think we're supposed to act and who we think we are. It's just like when you look inside yourself and this empty, like anything, space, and then we can do that. We can see the space when we stop being attached to what we think uh, is uh, is reality. If we don't get attached to who we think we are, or other people, or how the world should be, if we start being more uh, just aware but not attached, the, then we don't have to be attached to our sense of who we are, and then we can see that inside ourselves is total space, and we can actually be anyone we want to be. So through that comes tremendous fearlessness, and thus we can drop talking to ourselves. Um, Next verse. I think this is a big one. So one talks about the stage of away from play words. Still, he is declaring this and that, in spite of illustrating what is beyond all words. Still, he is but piling words on words. He then is the ignorant one, who with self-clinging meditates in the stage of away from play words. There is no such thing as this. I gotta read this one again. This one is a bit complicated. So one talks about the stage of away from play words. Still, he is declaring this and that, in spite of illustrating what is beyond all words. Still, he is but piling words on words. He then is the ignorant one, who with self-clinging meditates in the stage of away from play words. There's no such thing as this. So here Milarepa talks about people who claim to be claim to be have reached the stage, and at the same time they talk a lot. You know how some people can talk and talk and talk and talk and say very little, but make themselves look really pompous, and some people can say a few words and those words are essential. And when they talk a lot, then every word is essential. Well, I think that's what he talks about. He says those people just making up stuff and creating things out of things, come up with ideas and create more ideas and grow on ideas and go away from what's essential. Or some people have reached, people claim to have reached the stage of being away from play words, and at the same time they talk and declare certain nonsenses. They say certain things that don't really make sense to nobody but themselves and their students. So that's that verse. And let's see. The next verse is the non-differentiation of manifestation and voidness is the Dharmakaya, in which samsara and nirvana are felt to be the same. It is a complete merging of Buddha and sentient beings. These are the signs of the stage of the one taste, as many have declared. So in the third stage of this Mahamudra of enlightenment, people in our perception, if we reach this stage, then how we perceive nothingness, total emptiness, nothingness, and everything that there is not a difference. To us, emptiness is full of is very rich, and the world can be very, very empty, but it's not of this. It's a unity of being and not being, of seeing reality and seeing the emptiness of reality. And that is the true Dharmakaya, which is the true body in Buddha's thought, and that signifies basically everything that there is, everything that could be, is the space out of which everything is created. In it, there's past, present, future, whatever could be. It's what thoughts and imagination is made out of. And also the person who reaches the stage sees that suffering and happiness are experienced the same. There's this world and the perfect world are the same world. That's how it is experienced. And also the person experiences that the person is one with everything. All beings are a part of the person who experiences the stage. And that's what he says. That's what Milarepa says. And apparently he reached that stage and surpassed it too. Next verse. He who says that all is one is still discriminating. In the stage of one taste, there is no such blindness. So, here Milarepa says that people who say that, oh, everything is just one, are discriminating, because if everything is one, what about the other? And in this stage, there is no such ignorance. But to tell the truth, I said, what about the other? Milarepa didn't say that, that's just me talking what comes out to my mind. But here it does say is that because all is one, it is discriminating. And I'm thinking to myself, what is it discriminating of? It's discriminating, meaning separating this from that. And I think that what the discrimination here is whether saying all is one, or the opposite would be all is none, which is nihilism or externism. And that's an extremism, And the middle way, the Buddha way, is the middle way of between two extremes of everything is all is one or all is none. Next verse. A wandering thought is itself the essence of wisdom, immanent and intrinsic. Cause and effect are both the same. This is a realization of a Buddha's three bodies existing within oneself. These are the consummation signs of the stage of non-practice. I'll read this one again, because this is the fourth stage. A wandering thought is itself the essence of wisdom, immanent and intrinsic. Cause and effect are both the same. This is a realization of Buddha's three bodies existing within oneself. These are the consummation signs of the stage of non-practice. Here, Milarepa says that our Buddha nature is that we all have our Buddha nature, and Buddha nature is made out of what's considered by Buddhists is the three bodies, which is Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. Dharmakaya is the truth body, which is basically the substance out of everything is made. And Sambhogakaya is our senses, our dreams. It's an archetypal realm. It's when we know what is good, what is bad, what is father, mother. All our concepts are there, and we're talking about totality of all there is. So it's the totality of all those classifications of reality, which are subtle reality, thoughts, feelings. And then there is the Nirmanakaya, which is the physical reality. So once people reach the fourth stage of Mahamudra, the stage of non-practice, they realize the Buddha within themselves as those three bodies. It comes to know within oneself the physical manifestation of Buddha, the mental, archetypal, thought-wise, and the ultimate one. And also the person sees that everything happens as it is, so the cause is the effect. Everything happens cause of itself, and that's that all comes out from seeing that our ordinary thoughts, like the ordinary wandering thoughts, is the wisdom, is jnani, is the essence of is the gate, is the road, is the gateway through which we can understand who we are, by seeing everything as the essence. And it's very personal. It's very we hear it inside ourselves, and it's very there. Next verse. When one talks about non-practice, his mind is still active. He talks about illumination, but in fact is blind. In the stage of non-practice, there is no such thing. Oh, this is a really interesting one. Um, with me not being there, it's hard for me to talk about it because I can only say what I think it means. Plus, I don't know the Tibetan language. This is the translation. So here Milarepa says that when people talk about reaching the highest stage of Mahamudra, which is a stage of non-practice, when people talk about it, their minds are still moving. And that's not good because the mind is not supposed to be there at all. People talk about getting some sort of enlightenment, but in fact they're blind to reality, to the real deal. When people when people act like that, they're lying. They're liars to themselves, to others. The disciple cried, "These instructions are indeed extraordinary. To help ignorant men like us, pray now, instruct us on the practice of the 6 paramitas." Milarepa sang in reply. 6 paramitas is somewhat traditional Tibetan practices. Paramitas means perfections. They are perfections of morality, perfections of meditation, absorption, just perfection of effort, things that you need to get really good at in order to get enlightened. That's what 6 paramitas are. So Milarepa starts again. "I bow down at the feet of the perfect Jetson gurus," and he thanks his teachers for him being who he is now. He respects his teachers. His teachers are many, and the source of all his teachings comes, according to the lore, from Buddha Vairochan. So it's all goes from him all the way to the origin, beyond no origin, just asymptotelessness. It goes from him to the creation and the creator. I've been reading Bible lately, so I'm talking all creation, created. Anyways, onward though. "Property and wealth are like dew on grass. Knowing this, gladly should one give them away. It is most precious to be born a worthy and leisured human being. Knowing this, one should with care observe the precepts, as if protecting his own eyes." So here Milarepa says that material things, wealth, money, they can be easily gone. Today you have a house, a beautiful family. Tomorrow, house is under foreclosure, and who knows what happened to the family. Things easy come, easy go, and this it's very fortunate to become in a situation where you are prosperous and you don't have to work really hard to maintain your prosperity. And for those people especially, or just for anybody, it is important to be a good person because, well, of the laws of karma, of course. So here Milarepa says that our our dignity, our morality, our humanity, we need to protect and be very aware of our negativities, especially if uh, we've got some money or we're holding something that we like power or position, you know. In other words, if you're a doctor, don't don't go taking some morphine, stuff like that. If you're a teacher, don't be bad teacher. Be abuse to your kids. Basic stuff, basic stuff. It's always basic, always ordinary, everywhere, all over the world, every culture. Anger is the cause of falling to the realms below. Knowing this, one should refrain from wrath, even at the risk of life. When we become angry, anger, that's what causes beings to go down. That's when we become animals or demons. You know, like that person acts like an animal. Or the person is really demonic. That's what when people lose themselves and in anger. Anger becomes them and they commit a lot of things that they don't want to commit, like all those murders, for example, that recently happened here. Anger is the cause. Um, hmm. So, because we should know this, we should be aware of ourselves being angry and stay and not. And sometimes you have to swallow your pride and just walk away. Then show how it's just to snap and lose control. Benefit to oneself and to others has never. Sorry. Benefit to oneself and to others can never be achieved through sloth. Strive therefore to do good deeds. Well, that's kind of self-explanatory. We can't do bad people. We cannot do bad things. We cannot be bad people if we want to do something good. So we should do something good instead of being arrogant. A perturbed, wandering mind never sees the truth of Mahayana. Practice therefore concentration. He says here that when our mind is always wandering and is always worrying and always not happy, we cannot realize how everything is interconnected and how it's important to be compassionate and kind and grow in wisdom. That's why he recommends to practice patience and concentration.
He's gonna get it for us.
Cool, man.
Thank you.
Buddha cannot be found through searching, so contemplate your own mind. Until the autumn mist dissolve into the sky, strive on with faith and determination. I'll read this again, it's so beautiful. Buddha cannot be found through searching, so contemplate your own mind. until the autumn mists dissolve into the sky. Strive on with faith and determination. This is the last verse in this poem. Milarepa here says that you cannot find the truth on the outside. So believe that the truth is there. It is eternal, and
I'll be right back.
don't give up on your search for wisdom, for knowledge, for understanding. Thank you, good people. I am Chili Chill in France. Hey, Chili Chill, you be my friends. Be everybody's friends. Stay friends. Let's be friends. Friendship is the most beautiful thing there is in the world. It's friendship. People say love, but I say friendship, because love is there's also hey, there's friendship, so then there's friendship. So be excellent to each other. I'm out of here.